How would you like to have a full or part-time business that allows you to create a flexible work schedule around your busy lifestyle? Would you like to earn between 60 and 500,000 annually working from the comfort of your own home? If so, then virtual wholesaling may be the business for you. Contact us at reoauctionacademy.com and find out how to get a jump start on building a cash flowing machine without the headaches of dealing with contractors and homeowners. With an investment starting as low as $7,000, you can be well on your way to living the virtual investing lifestyle of your choosing.
Welcome to Flipping Out with your host, Paul Ezell, your leader in virtual wholesaling and investing in today's real estate market. Each week, he will be joined by some of the biggest players in the real estate space who will share their experiences, knowledge, insight, and tips for making it big in the industry. And now, here's your host, Paul Ezell.
Hello, everyone. This is another episode of Flipping Out. My name is Paul Ezell, your host, and with me is my friend Dustin Heiner. And Dustin's kind of a great inspirational story. I'm going to get him into that here in about 2 seconds. He's got a great educational program as well. But Dustin, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into this, and then just take us right into your story.
Hey, Paul, thank you so much for having me on the show. I love being able to share with everybody what real estate's done in my life and just changing my life literally from working a dead end. I call it a JOB, a just over broke job. It's you're just living just over broke, and getting out of that by investing in real estate is just amazing. So yeah, absolutely. So I started investing in 2006. And if you remember back in 2006, the market was really, really low, really, really high. And rents were really, really low.
Yeah, they
and
were.
You couldn't really make money. But let me tell you really quickly about me and how I really got the guts to become an investor. Now, I have always been entrepreneurial in my life. I like starting businesses. So when I was 13 years old, I had a newspaper delivery company where I would take the newspapers and run my bike and the bags and throw it and bang on the garage doors, wake people up at 5 a.m. in the morning. And I did that. I also have a graphic and website design company. I also had a convenience store, a pizzeria. I even had a skateboard manufacturing business. All the while, I went to school, and I was always taught, just like we are always taught, that you go to school, you go to college, then you get a good job. From there, you retire when you're 65 years old and hopefully have enough money to save that you're going to live on. And I was just working the regular 9-to-5 job. So after college, graduated, got a job. Even though it was entrepreneurial, I still was doing that same type of thing where I was doing that working 9-to-5. So I was working for a county in Fresno County in California, doing IT work there at Fresno County. And as my wife and I were married, I had these businesses, but they weren't doing that great, not making us any money really. And at the same time, I bought one rental property. And I bought rental property. I was like, man, this is great. Like, I don't do any work. I have property managers that do the work, and I keep making money every single month. This is great. I should do more, but I really didn't. Now, this is what really catapulted me into investing, being an investor. So my wife and I started having kids. Eventually, like if you can watch this, you can see in the background, I have my 4 kids. By the time my 4th daughter was born, 4th child, so we have 2 girls, 2 boys. My 4th child was born, and I went on paternity leave. So I had a regular desk job, working 9-to-5, and I went on paternity leave. That's where the dad stays home with the mom and bonds with the baby, changes poopy diapers and all that sort of stuff for about a week or so. And so after that paternity leave, I go back to work, and for about a week, I'm back at work. And on a Friday at 3:30 in the afternoon, I get a call from my boss's secretary, like the top dog. I get a call from her, and she says, Dustin, would you please come to the boss's office? And I said, sure. And I hung up the phone. And I paused for a second. I was like, well, I've only been back for a week now, and I haven't done anything good or bad to need this call. And this is weird. What's going on? And I sat there for a second. I thought to myself, well, what could possibly have happened? And in the past, I was literally sitting there. I was remembering a month or 2 prior. I started thinking, there's been rumors, there's some rumblings that there had been talks of layoffs in the county because there were some, I guess, money issues or, lack of taxes or something. And I said, no way for me. I've been here for, 13, 14 years now. Great seniority. My bosses think I do a great job. There's no way I'm gonna get laid off. So I immediately shook that off. So I got up, walked down the hallway to my boss's office. Now, this hallway isn't very long. In fact, it's a fairly short hallway, but every step that I took, it felt like the hallway got longer and longer and longer. It felt like my feet turned into lead bricks as I walked down the hallway, because as I'm walking through, I'm realizing that this potentially could be the time that I get laid off and the world starts falling on my shoulders. And I
Mm-hmm.
start thinking about my kids. And as I'm walking down the hallway, I turn the corner and I see my boss's, his door's closed and his secretary's right there and looking at me. Really nice lady. Sheepishly, she grins and says, Dustin, would you please have a seat? And she's consoling me with her eyes. And I go take a seat, and she knows everything that's going on. I knows nothing about what's going on. So she's tried her best without saying anything to try to console me. And as I'm sitting there, I'm thinking about, my goodness, this potentially could, this is 3:30 in the afternoon on Friday. I'm probably getting laid off. And as
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that, I'm realizing, oh my goodness, all these many years of working this corporate 9 to 5 job, is that all going to be taken away from me? Was all those years just worthless? And then I started thinking, oh my goodness, I got 4 kids at home. How am I going to feed my family? Does that make me a failure as a father? Does that make me a failure as a husband, as a man trying to provide for his family? Now, as I'm sitting there, my forehead gets all sweaty, my hands get all clammy because the weight of everything is starting to crash on me. And then opens the door to my boss's office, and out walks a lady, a coworker of mine, with a piece of paper in her hand. She's noticeably distraught, noticeably upset. She's not crying, but you could tell her world has 100% been rocked. And my boss says, Dustin, would you please come in the office? So I get up and I walk into the office and I get laid off. And mind you, this is the government. Nobody gets laid off or fired
Right.
from the government, but I did. So I take that layoff notice and I walk down the hallway and I go and sit down in my office. I got 2 weeks to figure this out. And I realized 2 things right then and there, Paul. Number one, I realized I need to get another job. I need to figure out how to provide for my family. And so I was really blessed, praise the Lord, to be able to find another county department in the same county, another department, the sheriff's department. Great department. They had a spot. They picked me up and I started working for them. Didn't even get laid off. It was such a blessing. So check, got that one done. The second thing, as I'm sitting there in that chair, I realized the second thing. I need to make sure that I never, ever let this happen to me again. So right then and there, I realized no longer would I ever answer the question, hey, Dustin, what do you do? And everybody gets that question. And they're asking you, what value do you put on yourself? Well, what I would normally answer, and most people do, is with my job. Well, I work for the county. I do IT work there at the county. But I realize they're sitting in that chair. My value is not in my job. And everybody listening to this and watching this, you must realize your value is not in your job. In fact, your boss is only paying you. They can never pay you what you're worth, what your true value is. They're only paying you just enough to keep you working without quitting, but not so much money that takes money out of your pocket. So as I'm sitting there, I realize no longer will I ever tell anybody my job. Now what I will say, I am an investor. Now it so happens that maybe 100% of my money comes from my job. That's my part-time job. I am a full-time investor. From that point forward, started working in the new county department, worked really, really well there, saved my money, bought the next property, saved money, brought the next property. After 30 plus properties, I was like, my goodness, why am I still working here?
Yeah.
I'm losing money here instead of, you know, I'm making $75,000 a year here. I'm losing money here. Let me quit. So Paul, I'll round out the story by saying this. I walked to my new boss's office, great boss and everything. I said, boss, I'm laying you off. And joking, I didn't really say that, but I laid him off. I gave him a 2 weeks notice and I said, I'm done. And my boss says, Dustin, what are you going to do? I said, nothing. I have real estate. I have rental properties. I literally don't need to work and the money comes in. So finish out the story. If you remember that walk that I took to my first boss's office, that hallway felt like it got longer. My feet were lead bricks. Well, I worked in downtown Fresno, about a 1.5 mile walk to my car. I've taken this walk 1,000 times because I didn't want to pay for parking, but I've taken this walk 1,000 times. The last time that I walked away from my job, I felt like I was walking on clouds. I was walking on clouds because I realized I would never, ever need a job again because everything that I built has now prepared me so that nobody could ever take my livelihood, take the ability to feed my family away from me. Now I literally have all the money, the time, and everything that I need to do whatever I want. So I'll finish the story, and because there's probably a lot of questions, and well, I definitely
keep going. I'm liking it. Keep it going, Dustin.
Awesome. So everybody here listening needs to realize that catalyst for me was being laid off. And most people would say, oh man, that's so horrible. But it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I'll tell you this, if this happens to anybody, you need to realize this necessity is the mother of invention. I necessarily needed to figure out a way to make sure this never happened again. So I bought property after property after property. Pretty soon I had, I don't know, $10,000 a month coming in passive income, like literally not working, money coming in every single month. And so I said, I'm going to go ahead and quit.
That's awesome. And one thing that's interesting in that, there's two things. One, you were able to get all these properties while you had a job that it wasn't a 1099 job. It was a W-2 job where you could show this income. Much easier to qualify for a mortgage with this too. Yeah. Much easier. Whereas if somebody just goes off on their own, doesn't have the income, difficult to get a mortgage. So great. You had a plan. And I never heard you say that, you know, I'm going to do this. And then when I get a certain amount of properties, I'm going to exit. It just kind of seemed like it always kind of happened for you. And then you realize, wow, I don't need to work anymore. Now I could do whatever the heck I want.
In fact, I should have quit like 2 years earlier, but I was nervous, even though that W-2 job is not guaranteed. And I'm proof of that. Yeah. Like I said, if I can get fired or laid off from the government, anybody can get fired or laid off from anywhere. And so I realized that that's not guaranteed, even though it feels like every 2 weeks or so, I get that money coming in. It feels good, but it can be ripped out from under you in 2 seconds. Why not put it in where you have control over all of that? Now I literally have control over everything. Now I literally have 4 or 5 businesses because taking that time that I remember, your boss is only paying you enough to keep you working without quitting, but not so much money that takes money out of their pocket. That extra time that you now have once you quit, I've created 4 or 5 other businesses that also make me money. That's how we continue to make money, is by buying real estate, building businesses, taking that money from the businesses, buying more real estate, buying more. It's a cycle of just keep growing. And this is generational wealth that I'm creating. I'm literally passing down the real estate, passing down the businesses. You cannot pass down your job, that job, to your kids. You cannot do that, but you can pass down businesses. You can employ your kids. You can give them the real estate. You can teach them, which I'm doing that, teaching them how to invest in real estate. All these great things started from me getting laid off.
Which is the best thing that ever happened to you, right? It's just an extra motivational piece for you that you need. You know, just need that little extra motivation, a little kick in the ass. And there's a lot of people who've gotten into real estate investing by losing their job, getting fired, laid off, or whatever, and decide, what else am I going to do here? And it's happened to a lot of people over, you know, probably with COVID here too, with a lot of people losing their jobs, went into some sort of business, whether it was real estate investing or getting into, you know, tech. Tech obviously is going to be big, and you're into tech, sounds like too. No, that's tremendous. That is such a great story. And I love how you did it with passive income. And what a lot of people listening don't realize here, that income is the least taxed income out there of anything in real estate. I mean, this is so important. I want to touch on this and just reiterate to people out there. You know, it's all glamorous with the fix and flips that you see on HGTV, right? And the wholesaling and all this. But I know a lot of wholesalers who made a lot of money, didn't pay the taxes, and then a tax bill came in, they had the money to pay for it there. Whereas with passive income from real estate, what people don't realize, you get 27 and a half years depreciation. You get to write off the mortgage
depreciation, Paul.
So much, right? Much. I mean, the depreciation, the interest, the working on a property, any of the repairs on the property. I mean, there's so much you could do. So you basically pay no federal income tax when you have all these properties here, which is the best.
It's amazing. You're 100% right. If anybody has never gotten a taste of depreciation, oh my goodness, it makes it look like you're making zero. It's so absolutely amazing.
It is. And it's something that I didn't do enough in 2020, came back to bite me in the butt. So 2021 here, I had to add more. And then I just moved from Pennsylvania to Florida. So now I'm shifting rentals from Pennsylvania to Florida and Wyoming and Texas. I'll have more rentals there too. It just, you know, shifting, you need to have these rentals. You need appreciation to offset all your other income that you make, whether it's your business, right? Your other businesses that you have, or for me, whether it's the fix and flips or the wholesale deals I have. Did you want to add on to that?
Yeah, absolutely. And the biggest thing for me is that I wanted to quit working for somebody else and not necessarily stop working. Like people would say, like I was 37 years old when I retired, or when I quote unquote retired. I still work all the time. I love working. I love getting on podcasts with great people like you, Paul. And so I realized that I didn't want to just flip houses, because flipping is great. You get a good chunk of cash, but then you got to flip the next house. Then you got to flip the next one. I wanted to get something where I literally don't have to do anything and I can hire the right people. So here's what I did. And remember, I started investing back in 2006. This was before the crash. And what happened was, even though the crash happened, so I bought houses here, really high, and then the crash happened, the value went down, but I still made money every single month. So no matter if the market goes up, if the market goes down, or if the market goes sideways, I make money every single month because I don't invest for appreciation at all. In fact, most of my properties I'll literally give to my kids. That's literally not what I'm not worried about appreciation. Now I'll use the equity to pull that out to buy more properties all the time. I've done that like countless times. But here's what I did. I realized that if I buy one property that made me $250 a month in passive income, that is not working, passive income. That's $3,000 a year. I was like, oh my goodness, $3,000 a year from just one property? Well, let me multiply that out. If I buy 10 properties that made me a minimum, remember, these are a minimum. I have some properties maybe $500, $600, $700, $800 a month in passive income. So if I have 10 properties making me $250 a month in passive income, that's $2,500 a month. That is $30,000 a year. 20 properties, $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year. And I just realized it's just a numbers game. As long as I keep getting more properties and getting more properties, eventually I'm going to have enough to where I replace my income, let alone fix my expenses, or take care of my expenses, replace my income, and then some. And now it's just a snowball. It just keeps getting bigger, because literally this is what I do, Paul. All that money coming in, I live pretty frugally. In fact, I really like being frugal. I don't buy Porsches or Ferraris. In fact, I'll tell everybody, like, I'm literally currently, I say this all the time on my podcast, YouTube, I'm really frugal, but I'm wise with my money. I moved from California, sold my expensive home in California, moved out here to Arizona into one of my rental properties. And reason why I moved in my rental property, because I'm waiting to find and buy a bigger house. But anyways, long story short, I'm currently living in a 1,250 square foot house, don't have a mortgage on it. All this money is saving up to buy more real estate. And that's the biggest thing. This is a snowball. Every bit of money that comes in, let's say $10,000, $20,000 a month in passive income that comes in, I save that. It's a snowball, makes it get bigger to then buy the next property, which makes me more money to buy the next property. It's beautiful. Now the starting is rather difficult, because you get the first one. It's just a small snowball. But once you get to 5 to 10, 15, it just explodes from there.
It totally does. And one other thing I wanted to point out, which is just smart for what you did, what a lot of other new investors don't do. You got a property manager, so you don't have to worry about the headaches or anything, right? Because that takes away all the headaches. No, there are bad property managers out there, but you can always find a new one to replace them or something goes wrong. But once you find that good property manager, you don't have to worry about anything. They're taking care of everything, and you're just earning income, doing nothing. It is truly passive income in every aspect of it,
It sure is. And let me tell you so I love coaching and teaching people. So once I retired, I quit my job. I had so many friends and family members asking me, well, Dustin, what are you doing that you're going to make money? I said, well, I invest in rental properties. The second question is always, well, can you show me? And so I started showing friends and family members, and realized I enjoyed doing it. I had plenty of time because I wasn't working. And so fast forward now, I created a online business where I have books, I have free podcasts, free YouTube channel, literally just teaching how I do this so you can do it as well. And so here's what's really interesting. As I was building my business, people wanted to learn how to do this. So I really had to figure out, okay, what's the step-by-step process? So I'll give you, all your listeners right now, my step-by-step process, big overview, so that you can understand. Because Paul, you hit the nail on the head. The property manager is vital. Now, here's what other people who teach you how to do, quote unquote, teach you how to invest in real estate, this is what they'll say. And this is the wrong way to do it. So I'm going to tell it to you quickly, so you hopefully forget it. They'll say, find a property, run the numbers, make sure you're going to make it $50 or $100 a month in passive income. Then you find somebody to fix it up, somebody to rehab it. Then you find somebody to rent it out. Then, to be a tenant. Then you find a property manager. Then they always have this, in my opinion, backwards. Now, what we do here at Master Passive Income is we build the business first. Now, building the business first is something that you are absolutely key on, Paul, and really, really wise, because you do this. This is what us investors know, but most beginning people don't know. Our property managers are our quarterbacks. They're the ones that make us money, that save us money, that make sure our business run. But let me give you an example of what building the business looks like. If you're going to start a convenience store, you're not going to lease a space, open the doors, and put a box of candy bars in there. If you do that, you're going to lose business. You'll go out of business in like 2 seconds. No, what you will do though, is you'll build the business. You'll get the gondolas. Those are the shelving units that you put the candy bars on. You'll get the countertops, cold storage, fountain machines, employees, bank accounts, cash registers, insurance. You'll get all of these things before you buy any inventory. Then you buy the inventory, you put in your business. Same thing in real estate investing. We build the entire business, no matter where. Like I invest in Texas, Ohio, and Arizona. I have students that invest all over the country. No matter where you live, we invest out of state. We love doing that. But what we do is we build the business first. And then every property that we buy is a piece of inventory that we put into the business. Other people will tell you your property is your business. No, your property is your inventory. The reason why we scale our business so easily and so well is because we make sure that we build the business first and we view every piece of property as an inventory. We just buy it. Like I love wholesalers. I buy from wholesalers. I buy it from them. They make a little bit of money, which is great because I make a lot of money. And then I put that in my business. Then it works for me. But let me quickly also add that I always get people asking me, well, Dustin, how do you afford a property manager? It's like, well, here's a crazy thing, Paul. I don't pay my taxes. I don't pay my insurance. I don't pay
property manager.
My property managers. I don't pay my rehab. I don't pay any of that stuff. My tenants pay for all of that. So I make sure that I have all that accounted for before I buy the property. And this is really what it looks like. You take all your expenses before you buy this is before you buy the property. You add up all your expenses, taxes, insurance, mortgage, property managers, all that sort of stuff. You add up all those expenses. That's your total expenses. Then all you do is you make sure you have the right business people, the experts on the ground, the property manager. You say, property manager, here's the property. How much can I rent this for? Now, let's say your expenses are $1,000. Property manager says, hey, Dustin, you can rent it for $1,300. I have a property right around the corner, renting for our other landlord for $1,300. Awesome. Perfect. $1,300, $100 or $1,000. That $300 difference is passive income that you put into your pocket. That's how I'm able to feed my family, get rid of all my expenses. That's really what we do. But we also make sure that the tenants pay for every bit of that before we buy the property.
Yeah. And those markets you're in are tremendous markets too. I mean, to be in Texas, Ohio, and Arizona. Ohio is one of those linear markets where, you don't get crazy increase in the price, but you have low cost of living. You get good, affordable housing there, and you have good, stable tenants, big time, good, stable tenants. It's been one of our favorite markets, Indiana and Ohio. Those two are really, really excellent markets.
Oh, they are.
And the Carolinas are very similar too, but Carolinas are getting some growth right now because you got a lot of people from the Northeast move there as well, but still affordable.
Yeah, I agree. So my students, we all invest all over the country. Every area is little nuances, especially if you get like to the coastlines and nuances and how you actually do those well. But the Midwest is fantastic. Down to like you said, the Carolinas, down into Florida, really, really great areas. But you are seeing like Californians moving to Arizona and Idaho. So those markets are popping up, people from New York, and they're really heavily taxed and heavily just everything
regulated.
They're moving south, regulated, moving south. So you're seeing that. But at the same time, we're investors. We don't buy. Here's another thing. So you know this, Paul, but I'll explain it out for all the listeners and people watching this. We make money when we buy rental properties in 6 different ways, and it's amazing. So number 1 is passive income. Love that. We just talked about it. Another 2 is equity capture. So if the house is worth $150,000, we're investors. We're not going to pay $150,000. We're going to get a discount. We're going to try to buy it for $120,000. Now, we're not twisting their arm or breaking it so they sell it to us. No, if it's going to help them out, it's going to help them out, and it's going to help us out. So we're going to get equity capture. Number 3 is forced appreciation. Getting in there, fixing it up, making it worth more. Then we can pull money out, which is a tax-free loan. We can get into that later. Love doing those things. Another one is market appreciation. In the last year, Phoenix has gone up 20% in the last year. It's just stupid crazy. But hey, we know market goes up. Another one is tax advantages. We talked about depreciation quickly. Amazing. You just need to realize just because I say tax advantage, oh, it's boring. No. Seriously, this is amazing. It's huge. I won't go into further because so much to go through, but you need to learn that. The last one that I love is also mortgage buy down. I buy a house, my tenant pays for the mortgage. They pay for the principal and interest, and I get the benefits of it. And then I own the house and I can sell it and get all that profit from it. So all that to say, we make money in 6 different ways. On top of that, we insure the property. So if it burns down, we make our money back. Oh my, there's so many great things about real estate investing.
Really is. It really is the greatest asset class out there. And it's the only asset class where you can get that great tax advantages. Like I'm big into cryptos too. I do a lot of crypto investing and I stake a lot of my cryptos and earn really good income doing that. It's like, I call it this thing, it's like rental income without tenants and toilets. Problem is I can't depreciate anything. I can't write everything off. It's all capital gains. So it's still, as good as cryptos are and what they do, they are never going to be the asset class that real estate is because of all the benefits it offers. And it's not just the United States, but other countries offer similar benefits tax-wise to their citizens for that as well. It's why it is the number one. And people know I'm big into cryptos as well, but I'll always be number one in real estate because real estate is far and away the best asset class out there. Now, I know you told me before you were offering a free educational class that you have out there. And I wanted you to just send it out there before I forget on that.
Oh yeah.
We'll probably talk about more as well.
Thanks a lot. So yes, it's not necessarily a class, which I do have those. I have free classes too. I literally just want everybody to learn how to do this. This is just what I love to do in my free time, but I have a free course. I'll literally get it to you. You download it. If you text the word rental, RENTAL, rental to 33777. Rental to 33777. I'll give you my free real estate investing course, show you how to find an area of the country to invest, how to make sure you're buying the right properties to make $250 a month, how to build the business first, how to scale the business to where you can quit your job. I'll literally give that to you for free, but you can also find it on my website, masterpassiveincome.com/free course. All one word, /free course. But it's literally a download. You download it, you digest it, you implement it. I've had lots of students literally just take that and become successful. So that's literally what I want to see. And that's why I do all these podcasts and just all my podcasts. Like I have a YouTube channel and a podcast called Master Passive Income. It's literally like, I don't do interviews. It's literally just me teaching how to do this rental property stuff because it's just fun. I love talking about this stuff.
I mean, it is awesome and it is the best. And I highly recommend anybody to go to your website, take a look at it too. For those who want coaching, I know you do offer coaching as well. And I would highly recommend getting that. For me, and I've been in this business since 2001 for 20 years now. And I have paid for several mentors for different things, right? Whether it's self-storage, whether it's rentals, and it's always worthwhile getting that professional opinion, right? So don't feel like you got a free one. That's great. But if you don't understand, you have questions, definitely reach out to Dustin and talk to him about his coaching program as well.
If I can, let me give you a quick story real quick of one of my students. I have hundreds of students, but I'm gonna give you one here really quick to help you answer, to add into exactly what you're talking about. So in December of 2019, this was like 2-3 months before COVID hit, he started work with me. I started coaching him one-on-one to invest in real estate. He's analyzing properties and he's getting nervous and everything. And he brings a property to me and says, "Hey, Dustin, what do you think about this property? It's a duplex. It looks great." I'm looking at the numbers. I'm like, "You know what, Benjamin, this is a really good property." He's like, "Man, I don't know." I said, "Benjamin, it's a good property. I would buy it." "Oh man, I don't know." I said, "Benjamin, if you don't buy it, give it to me. I'm going to buy it." And he goes, "Whoa, maybe I should think." So that catapulted him. He's like, "Dustin would buy it. I'm going to buy it." Like he really wants to buy it. So I'm going to go ahead and buy it. So he and his wife bought that first property, that first duplex. Remember, this was December of 2019. And in 18 months, all through COVID and everything, he's amassed 22 total units, 11 duplexes. Now he's making $6,000 to $7,000 a month in passive income, all from that one statement that obviously all the coaching, everything, but that one statement got them over that hurdle to say, "Hey, if you're not going to buy it, Benjamin, I'm buying it. Give it to me." And then he did it. So yes, if you get a good coach, somebody that you can talk to that actually has been there before, that does it, we're going to save you so much more time, so much money. In fact, what I love to do, I love negotiating with my students. So they say, "If you're going to negotiate, tell me so I can help you negotiate. I'm a third party. I love negotiating too. I'll help you to understand how to get that price down." I've saved my students literally $30,000 and $40,000 off buying a house because we negotiated right. Long story short, I love helping people out.
And it is key. Like negotiating is obviously super important because you may really make the money when you buy it, as they say, right? And it's based off yours, off cash flow. One thing I wanted to touch on too, and how important was, you talked about when you started buying the rentals 2006. Of course, we hit the financial crisis 2008-9. Prices plummeted, right? And really fell, but rents didn't. Rent stayed stable. So you were still able, and it was based off a cash flow number, off an interest rate of a mortgage that you had. So you knew you were going to be in good shape with that, as long as the tenant didn't lose their job or have any issues there. But even if they did, you replace them and you bring a new tenant in. So we're not saying this is recession proof and everything, but it is the safest model in real estate as well, because it's based off cash flow with fixed long-term financing.
You're 100% right, Mike. Most of my expenses are literally fixed. Your taxes go up like 0.5%, 2%, maybe just a fraction. Your mortgage stays the same. Your insurance may go up just a little bit, usually,
not much.
But year by year, it's not much. But here's the great thing. So a lot of people ask me, hey, Dustin, is this potentially going to be another market crash? I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, it's been going up quite a bit for the last 12 years, which normally every cycle is 8 to 9 years. So who knows? There could be a correction. But here's the great thing. Well, great thing for us as investors. It's sad if there is a correction. In 2006, we were looking at all these people buying homes, and it was good. It seemed like it was good. People were buying homes, but people said, "Oh man, there was a crash. There's all these foreclosures and everything. You know, rents are going to go down." I said, "Well, let's think about that. Will rents go down if there are a lot of foreclosures? Let's say lots and lots of foreclosures. What happens to those people? Do they just live in their car? Most likely they got families. No, they're going to live somewhere. So what they do is they become renters. So supply and demand. I go buy that house that they can't afford or that the bank took back. I buy that house, not saying to rent it out to them, but I rent it to somebody else that is literally in the same position. So the pool of renters goes skyrocketing high.
It does.
The amount of rentals are low, so I gobble them up and I provide them for good housing for them for rent. So rents eventually go up. In fact, like right now, the house is bought in 2006. They've literally doubled in rent amount. It's just absolutely amazing.
It's astounding. It really is astounding how much rent has gone up over the past, say, 3, 4, 5 years. And it's going to potentially continue here a little bit. It's largely been affected by the pricing of the houses and super low interest rates, right? So they're going up with it as well, because the housing affordability index, just keeps going lower and lower and lower. People are not able to afford homes, so they need to rent. And I just bought a 12 unit this past year in Casper, Wyoming, and it was a full gut renovation. It was $430,000 we picked it up for. We're going to be into it for about, say, 725, and each unit will rent for around somewhere between $950 and $995. Originally, we were thinking like $859, but the rents have gone so much up in the area. We're probably going to start at $995. In that market, it should rent pretty quick. There's a major shortage, so we're going to do far better than we ever thought. To the point where the realtor is bringing me buyers. I had a buyer offer $1.2 million for the property. I really thought about doing that, right? But tax consequences. I have tax consequences if I do that, right? So I'm better off just refinancing it, pulling some cash out, like you said, right? That's a great way to do it. That's tax-free income right there. Let's say I'm able to pull $150,000 out tax-free, potentially a little bit more in this one. We'll see how it goes and what it appraises for, but that's tax-free income.
Like a great deal.
And then I get the write-off.
100% right. Yeah, you're 100% right, because that sounds like an amazing deal. So I get a lot of students asking me, well, Dustin, like coaching wise, like, hey, Dustin, I have my house, my personal house. Should I do this, or this? And usually it's either sell or rent it out. And I'm thinking, well, if you sell right now, then you literally don't have that property for rent. So I'm obviously leaning for renting. But why don't we, in a sense, the goal of selling is to getting that cash, right?
Right.
Well, of course. Why don't we just refinance that property, pull that cash out, make the tenant pay for that money that we're pulling out, get a tax-free loan that the tenant's going to pay back, and then have the house, have that property, use that money to buy another property. So much better. So usually, honestly, Paul, when I buy a house, it's hard for me to sell it because I make so much money. And like I said, I'm literally giving this to my kids.
No, I totally understand. I mean, it is the best. And look, most successful real estate investors, the ones that I know that have been in this business for the longest time, are your buy and hold guys, not the fix and flippers, right? They come and go, or sometimes they'll switch different industries, but the buy and hold guys. And I noticed this, I'm going to go back about 7 years ago, I went to one of our local RIA groups at Christmas for the Christmas, whenever they have a little shindig for Christmas, right? And it was 15 years ago. I remember seeing these same group of guys there, and they were all the buy and hold guys. I'm looking over for the guys who I used to sell fix and flips to, and I can't find them. I couldn't find them at all. It was all the buy and hold guys. They were still there. It's so interesting. I mean, it's really the best way to do it. Really, when you think about it with any asset class, whether it's stocks, cryptos, whatever, if you buy and hold it long term, you're always going to be better off than if you're constantly churning it, right? I mean, it's just pretty simple. Yeah, it's pretty simple.
But here's the thing. Like, if you're flipping a house or wholesaling or going getting a tax lien and then trying to flip, those are hard to get anyways. But if you're trying to do these things, you're hustling. Like, this is a job. If you don't do that next one, you're not going to have money to feed your family. And so what I love is literally making it so that I create passive income businesses. Now, a business of real estate rental properties, as people say, well, how passive can it be? What about those 2 a.m. calls? I'm like, seriously, I don't work. Okay, a lot of people have read the book 4 Hour Work Week. Well, working 4 hours a week is for suckers. I'm like, that's way too much. I don't work 30 hours a day or 30 minutes a day. I don't work 30 minutes a week. I barely even work 30 minutes a month on all my properties. It's basically just getting my property management statements because they know the business. We could talk about but the business processes. They know how to run my business. Look at the statements. Everything looks great. Put it aside. Go back to play with my kids. So I don't do a thing, but my business keeps running. That's why there's so much longevity, because I don't get burnt out.
Yeah, no, and that's key. And like I said, having those, if you have meetings with your property managers too, and kind of let's set expectations too of what, they get the calls. Here's your price limit of what you can do without contacting
X, Y, and Z. Yep.
Yes, it's pretty simple because you want to avoid those calls as much as possible. Or now they can do a text message, so it makes it a lot easier.
I don't want them to. I don't want to talk to my property manager other than at Christmas. Hey, you're doing a great job. Here's like a gift card for doing this, and boom. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to talk to tenants. I don't want to talk to property managers, even though I do. Now, here the nuance of getting a property manager. Here's a sad thing, Paul. So I put lots and lots of videos, literally just teaching how to invest in real estate on my YouTube channel. And the worst watched videos are how to find the right property managers, how to manage them, how to take care of them, all that sort of stuff. They're the worst watched videos. The ones that get a lot are like how to fund, how to find, how to do all the things that they think they need. But man, I'm like, this is the most important part is finding.
That's actually the goal. That's the goal you're giving right there. Because the property management, that is, and all the real estate masterminds I belong to, that's everybody's biggest bugaboo is finding good 100%. Ones out there. The ones that have them are great. They refer them to other people. And it's like, but it's always,
I don't refer them. I don't want my property manager
to keep them
anymore. I want to keep them.
Totally. And in my experience, it's been pretty good, especially in like Casper, Wyoming here. We'll give an example because I've had other properties there. It's a local realtor, several of them. There's a team of them. They also have rentals in that area and manage their own rentals as well. And mine happen to be in that area too. And they're on it. Don't bother me. Like it'll be a text. Hey, this happened. We need to replace the hot water heater. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Like, yep, you know that. Go ahead and do it. There's emergency calls, pipes break, whatever. You just take care of that. That's an issue that needs to be handled and done. And they just let me know in an email the next day. Oh, there it is. I got that. I love it. And it's so worth paying that.
Absolutely. So I got so somebody broke into one of my houses and stole the hot water heater. I was like, oh my goodness, the water's been gushing. And so my property manager sent me a quick video of the water gushing, said, hey, we got this, this company coming out. They're going to shut it off, blah, blah, blah. 2-second text. Okay, thanks, man. Boom, send it off. He just wants to make sure that I'm not going to be like, oh, what happened here? And then have to call him up. He gives me, but yeah, it's literally 2 seconds. Oh, that sucks. Oh, well, boom, send it, done. But I've accounted for those expenses because I make $3,000 a year on every single property on top of accounting for rehab or capital expenses, which are big ticket items, all that sort of stuff. So if you build the business first, you're going to be prepared for all of these things.
Yes, that's super important. Super, super important. It just, people underrate it. When you think about it, it's a service, right? There's a lot of services we pay for, whether it's internet, cable, whatever, and people don't think 2 seconds about paying for that service. Well, why wouldn't you pay for something like this? Because this service basically gives you time. Because if you want to manage all these properties yourself, it is such a time suck. It's a total nightmare. And I've done it, been there, done that, and never want to do it again. Property manager, they handle it. They do it. They let me know what goes on. I don't have to worry about anything.
And Paul, I'll tell you, I bought so many properties off of people who want to be landlords or accidental landlords. They just had a property that's rented out where they get fed up. They are so tired of tenants, tired of phone calls, tired of missing rent, all that sort of stuff. And they say, Dustin, just take the property from me. I'm like, okay, thank you. And I buy a property at a good price, do it right. And I'm so happy.
Yep. I know it's key, man. This is awesome. It's really, really good stuff you're getting into here. I totally love it. So you're in those three markets, Texas, Ohio, and Arizona. Any plans on potentially moving into different markets? Do you do any joint ventures with your students at all? I'm probably not on a rental side, right? But is there any of your students going to different markets that you're learning about that you're interested in?
So I'll answer markets. Absolutely. They're all over the place. In fact, I love helping my students find new areas of the country to invest in. One of the number one things that I love to do is teach my students how to fish rather than giving a fish. Like, oh, here, go in this market. Here's a property. Here's a property. I don't want to do that. Yeah. What I do is I teach them so that they don't need me anymore. My goal is not to keep them on forever. I literally just want to show them and then see them succeed. Like, oh, hey, look at them go now. Look at they quit their job. It's such an exciting time when students quit their jobs because, buying the first property is huge. That's big. But when they get enough to quit their job, that's even bigger. So I love teaching all my students how to find new areas of the country to invest. So we're finding areas all the time. Like I have once a month, we do a group coaching call where I get on and I answer all the questions. And at the same time, I'll have questions like, oh, like one of the students, I can't find a good area. Like, great, let's jump in and let's look at it for an area. I help them find an area. Like, hey, I haven't even looked at the state, let alone city. Let's look in there. Oh, hey, this might actually be a good because this is the reasons why. So I walk them through the process of me doing it so that they learn so that they can do it. Now, when you're talking about like having joint ventures with any students, no, I don't do that. I'm old enough now where I don't have partners, but now syndication's totally,
whole different animal.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Whole different animal. Yeah. But I have had some students say, hey, Dustin, could you lend me money to invest? I'm like, no, what track record do you have? Do you have any partners now? Do you have any experience? Like, why wouldn't I just do it? Like, anyways, long story short, I love teaching, and then syndication's a whole different ball of wax, but I love doing that as well.
That's awesome. That's perfect. Yeah, we have an educational program. We teach a lot of different things. We try to get people into the rental side, but of course the glamorous one, they love the wholesaling, the fixed flip, but we bring people on to try to educate them on the power of rentals or the advantages of owner financing, right? If you want to owner finance a property and sell it and get passive income that way too. You don't get the same tax advantages, but you do get some nice, you don't have to worry about tenants or toilets too. So for those people that don't want to worry about that at all, but the passive income, the best game. I'm not sure. Are you into cryptos at all? Do you buy anything by cryptos?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm trying. I know I should learn how to, what was it called? Where like you
staking
them.
Yep.
I need to do that, but I just haven't done that yet.
It's incredible what some of these pay. There's one, for example, persistence. It's a difficult one to get, but it pays 35%. It's amazing. For 2 years, it pays 35% for 2 years. The next 2 years is 17.5%. So let's say you could just compound it too. So let's say you put 150,000 into it and the price never changed over the course of the year. It didn't go up. You're going to have around 203,700 at the end of that year. Passive income gain. So it's big. It's one it's something that you want to take a look at. And you being a passive income guy, I think you'll have some interest in it. And you want to learn more, you want to talk more about it. We could do that offline as well.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Man, that's mind blowing. 35%. Wow.
Yeah, that's few. Some of them are around 7 to 10 and 3 and 5. That's always, but they're still good. It's still better what you got in the bank. It's a whole different animal though. Whole different asset class.
0.01. Yeah.
Yes. Keep money in bank is a loser's game. Yeah, for sure.
I basically try not to put any money in bank. I put it all in the real estate and crypto or, other things other than a bank because it's just losing money.
Yeah, totally. Now in the passive income game with rentals, is there a certain book you ever read that got you into that piqued your interest into doing rentals, buy and hold as compared to any other type?
So the best one that really started me, and I'm pretty sure everybody's read it. It literally started me. I think I read it in 2005. Was Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
And didn't necessarily like specifically go after rental properties. Is more the overall picture. That's what really helped me to realize that there's another way to make money. Working 1 hour, getting paid for an hour is for the birds. Like stop doing that. So because of that, it helped me to realize, oh my goodness, there's another way. So I started looking into how to build passive income businesses. buying real estate and all that sort of stuff. And Rich Dad Poor Dad was definitely by far. Now, as far as figuring out how to do real estate and rental properties, it wasn't any real estate book. Like, honestly, I don't think I've ever even read, I might have read part of like 2 or 3 books, like a section of them. I more did business books. Like I said, from the very beginning, I'm very entrepreneurial. And so it's a business. Now, real estate, it's really just X, Y, and Z. Like my dad was a contractor. Yeah, it's just numbers. My dad was a contractor. I've owned houses, a house to live in. And so like I could probably figure it out. So the hard part is not the buying of the real estate. That's the easy part. The hard part is running the business, making sure you have a business and all that sort of stuff. So I was always focused on the business aspect. And because of that, business has just been fantastic because I've set everything up beforehand and know that my property is my inventory, not my business.
Yep. And that's the mindset you got to have with it, is the most important. And Rich Dad was just one of the greatest books ever written. It does talk about passive income in there as well too, but still my favorite real estate book. Like you, I didn't do a whole lot of real estate books, more into the business sector as well, and mindset and different things like that. So, but that book is definitely one that if nobody in our audience has listened to it or read it, definitely read that one. Rich Dad Poor Dad is the greatest one.
I'll give you another quick one that I love. It's an older book. It's called Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clausen. Love that book. It's a fictional book. I mean, it's a storytelling of something happened a long time ago, but it gives you financial principles that are just fantastic. You have to read that book, just like Rich Dad Poor Dad. Just put those two together. You're going to be like, man, this is great.
These are mindset books, and then you have to have the right mindset in this business if you want to be successful and do things the right way. Now, little recap here. I just want to make sure everybody knows your website. It's www.masterpassiveincome.com, right? Just want to confirm that. And lots of great stuff. I was on the website. It's a really nice website. Well done, well designed. It's got a lot of great info on there. Really, really good. And videos as well. And then if they want to get the free educational course, it's texting rental 33777, correct?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Just so everybody gets all that. And Dustin, man, I really appreciate your time. It's been an awesome interview. You've given so much great input onto why you need to buy and hold long-term, and just how important it is. And it is, you're going to stay in this business and last a long time. You have to have rentals. You have to have it. It's just the essential part of the business.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to finish with?
Well, the biggest thing I always love to leave with is helping everybody realize, and this is something that happened for me. The quote that I love, it's a proverb. I love this proverb. It's when is the best time to plant a tree? Well, it was 20 years ago. The next best time is literally today. So if you get started today, it could be getting your education, like getting my free course, or working with Paul on wholesaling, or doing it, like literally starting today, learning how to do it. Then at the same time, not waiting to get the education, but start saving money now, so that as you're going through the process of education, you're saving your money for investing, because it helps to have money. Now, at the same time, you're building your business, you're getting everything moving forward. So best time was 20 years ago. Next best time is today. Get started today at everything that you want to do for real estate investing.
It's awesome, man. Really, really great stuff, Dustin, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time here. And hopefully we'll bring you back on here in the next year and we'll talk about how things are going for you.
Absolutely. I'll be there. Thanks a lot, Paul. I appreciate
having you on. Yep. Thank you.
You've been listening to Flipping Out with Paul Ezell, the #1 success platform for virtual wholesalers. Visit our website, thevirtualinvestor.co, for more information about how you can leverage virtual wholesaling to take control of your time, enjoy financial freedom, and live life the way you've always wanted to. Join us again next time for another informative discussion right at your fingertips.